You're listening to Pombo and Peter's Picks, the home of your favorite sports betting podcast, presented by The Daily Goat.
But without further ado, Peter, I think it's time to talk some Major League Baseball. Ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So we're going to, like we said, we're going to bring on Nate of Big Talk with Big Nate. Huge Mets fan, huge supporter of the New York Mets, and big Steve Cohen guy. Mets fan for life. So, Nate, how you doing?
Doing good. Pombo, how you doing? Peter, how you doing?
What's up, Nate?
So
It's been a while since I've seen your face, Peter.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So I know the listeners can't see this, but before Nate entered our little Zoom call to record this, Peter changed his background on his Zoom to the Braves winning the World Series. Obviously, the Mets and the Braves are arch rivals, so just to irk Nate, and it certainly did. That was the first thing he said when he entered the Zoom call.
Well, because I forgot to do, because I forgot to do that for the AL, because I was gonna put like Bogarts or Devers, and I forgot because I was editing the video on YouTube, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't do that, and then I was like, well, I was gonna put something for like the Dodgers, and then I was like, oh wait, no, we have Nate on. I'm gonna put the championship because obviously it was but,
Yeah, it was either that, DeGrom. I mean, there was different options you could have went with, Peter. And I think it was subtle. I think it was pretty funny. I do. I don't think it was too much. I think it was.
Hey, come on! They just won the World Series. You got to give them credit.
That's true. They are the defending champions. Yeah. As painful as that is to say, Nate. So Nate, I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to start with the NL East, or do you want to finish with the NL East?
Save the best for last.
All right, that's what we did last week with the AL East. So
let's do it.
Peter, we'll go top to bottom here. Let's start off with the NL Central. Odds to win the division. The Milwaukee Brewers are favored at -165. According to DraftKings, their win total is set at 89.5. So, Peter, I'll let you start. What do you like with the Milwaukee Brewers?
Well, A, they got rid of Jackie Bradley Jr. B, they probably have. Well, I mean, we'll get to the Mets because they're all dead. They have the best rotation in baseball. Corbin Burns, Freddie Peralta, Brandon Woodruff. They have a decent lineup. I'm pretty sure they're pretty good. I'm pretty sure they'll go pretty far. I have the over by a lot.
So you have over 89.5. Nate, what do you think?
I have the over for sure. I look at the Braves. They got a great pitching staff, very underrated pitching staff. Everyone kept saying the Mets had the best pitching staff in baseball, which obviously I would not really fully agree with, because the Brewers have a pretty great pitching staff. They obviously got Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns, Willie Peralta. They got a very solid pitching staff. They got Angel McCutcheon in there to really help out the young guys. You know, Pombo, I love mentors.
Yes, of course.
Who needs a mentor right now? That's Christian Yelich, who I think is primed to have a huge bounce back season. He's not even 160 games away from when he won that MVP, or when he had that great follow-up season after his MVP season. It's been like 2 years with the COVID season. So what do you know? But great team. I think this team's going to win well over 89 games. Definitely win that division as well.
Okay, so I think when we talk about the Brewers, I think one of the first things you have to say is Brandon Woodruff. He had a 2.56 ERA last season. Again, he emerged, and he is somebody that I think is poised to lead this rotation. And I know how we all talked about how this rotation is deep, and I think we all like the lineup. I know we all mentioned Yelich, and I think you all made some great points on that. But I think Woodruff is going to be somebody that is going to be in the Cy Young conversation. I think he's somebody that has the potential here for the Milwaukee Brewers to put them over the top. And we all know how important pitching is in the postseason. And I think Woodruff provides that. He is somebody that, again, he's been decent for the last couple of years, but last year was the year he broke onto the scene. Again, 2.56 ERA. The year prior in the COVID year, he had a 3.05 ERA. But again, shortened season, so that's a short sample size. But I like the over on this. I think it's a clean sweep on the over for the Milwaukee Brewers.
And they have Josh Hader. So.
Yep, him too. Moving on to the St. Louis Cardinals. DraftKings has their odds to win the division at +210, and their win total is set at 84.5. So, Nate, I'll start with you this time. What do you think with the Cardinals?
I'm taking the over slightly, not a whole lot. I'm not a huge fan of the pitching staff, especially with Jack Flaherty banged up. He's going to miss a couple months. with an arm injury. Their lineup, it's great. Obviously, they got Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, Harrison Bader's pretty decent. But again, as you just said before, Pombo, pitching wins. And I don't see this team having a great pitching staff like the Cardinals in the past. They've always been great with bringing up pitching prospects and whatnot, becoming great. But they're kind of running low on that right now. And I think the Jack Flaherty injury, a lot of people, obviously DraftKings thinks that they're going to still win the division. But Jack Flaherty, that injury is it's going to hurt that team a lot.
Okay. So I'll go next here. I also have the over for the St. Louis Cardinals. Again, I like the Cardinals a lot. We'll get into it later, but I think Nolan Arenado is poised to have a great season in St. Louis. And I also think when you look at this division as a whole, you have teams like this Cincinnati Reds, Chicago Cubs. I mean, feels like they're in more of a rebuild mold. And I think the Cardinals should be able to take advantage of that. I really do. I think they're going to compete to the bitter end with the Milwaukee Brewers to win that division. I think the Cardinals can win up to 90 games. I really believe that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I have the slight over. You don't like your boy Steven Matz?
Oh, he blows. Well, actually, I thank him now.
Yeah.
I have to thank Steven Matz, because if it wasn't for him, the Mets wouldn't have signed Starling Marte, Max Scherzer. So thank you, Steven Matz, but I don't care for him.
That whole situation unfolded in a weird way.
I think the firing of Mike Schmidt last year, too, is going to have an effect.
Good or bad effect?
I mean, everybody loves him. I didn't expect him to get fired, to be honest.
But it feels like the Cardinals.
Yeah.
It feels like the Cardinals have. I don't mean to cut you off, but it feels like the Cardinals. They have a short leash with their manager. I mean, Mike Matheny got canned after he made a World Series appearance and a couple other. Right? What was Mike Matheny's record before he got canned in St. Louis? Does anyone remember?
Like his total record?
No, but just like the season before he got fired in St. Louis.
I think he won 80-something games.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like he kind of fell off a cliff, you know? So I don't know. I think I just like the Cardinals this year. I really do. Peter, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's better. I like the Cardinals. I have them slightly over.
You had the over?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Again, clean sweep. Moving on. Chicago Cubs. DraftKings has them at plus 1,100, and their win total is set at 75.5. So, Peter, you want to start with the Cubs?
Yeah, I love the Cubs. They have a bunch of prospects. I don't like David Ross as a manager, but that's fine. I mean, I like Marcus Stroman, like Clint Frazier. I think the Cubs will surprise some people. They only won 71 games last year. 74 or 75 is a low number. They could be really sneaky if everything goes right to win the division.
Yeah, I mean, the Cubs, when you look at them in a vacuum, just how they've went about their last couple seasons, they've obviously had a lot of subtractions. Javi Baez, and again, there's been a number of them over the years, and it felt like they kind of are taking a back seat. But they did spend some money this offseason, like you said. And they did make some acquisitions in free agency and via trade. I'm going to take the slight over too. I think they can win like 77 games. Nate, what do you think?
I'm taking a slight over. Seiya Suzuki, he's a guy that could very well win Rookie of the Year. He hasn't done much at all. Like, he's done nothing in spring training, but it's spring training, so who cares about that? But he's a guy that I think is going to be a Rookie of the Year finalist. He's going to have a great season. They did sign Marcus Stroman, who is glad to be away from the Mets. His loss, I guess, but he's a decent pitcher. He's pretty good, so he's now in a place where there's absolutely no pressure on him to do anything for the first time in his entire career. They got Kyle Hendricks, who's had a pretty bad season last year, but he's definitely poised to have a big bounce back season. I think their pitching staff is pretty solid. It's okay. Their offense is still relatively decent. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team at all, but I think that they're definitely going to be better than what most people are thinking, maybe around 80 wins, somewhere around there.
I think the Cubs could be a team that is sitting at the trade deadline and they sit back and they think, you know what? Do we buy? Do we sell? Like, I could see them being like that fringe team that might want to buy to try to fight for that second wild card team, or they might not. Like, I think they're going to be one of those borderline teams that are going to be hovering around, like you said, around 80 wins. Sure. And last, I'm sorry, not last yet, but the Cincinnati Reds, their odds for the division are at plus 1,700. So real long shot here. DraftKings has them set at 74.5. Nate, what do you think of the Reds?
Yeah, I'm taking the under on that. They have no pitching besides Luis Castillo, who is kind of really overrated. Like, what has he really done? He had a decent rookie season, a good sophomore season. But other than that, hasn't really done anything. Everyone loves the guy and tries to trade for him. I don't really see it, but they have him. They have Mike Moustakas, who's just stealing money from that organization, and they have really nothing else besides that. Yeah, this team I think is going to be around a 65 win team.
And it's been a rough sled for the Reds.
Oh yeah,
and I would imagine that it's probably going to continue. Somebody you did mention, Joey Votto. How's his future going to end up? Is he going to end up getting moved? I mean, feels like Cincinnati. Cincinnati can go in a number of different ways there. Do you think he gets moved, Nate?
I think he does, and I have a sleeper pick for you. He's a Canada native. I think at the deadline, a team like the Blue Jays might try to take a swing at him, play him in that DH.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, they were in on Freddie Freeman, like they were in on all those other guys. I could see them being a suitor for Votto. And Votto, I mean, despite the fact that he's 38 going on age 39, I think he would still provide a potent spark to that Blue Jays lineup coming off a 36 home run season.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Nate. I'm going to take the under as well. It just feels like this team is in a mold in which they have to rebuild. And could it mean trading away Joey Votto? Absolutely. And like you talked about, in terms of pitching, there's really nothing there. Like you said, Luis Castillo is somebody that a lot of Reds fans talk about. Again, last year he had a 3.98 ERA. The season before he pitched a little bit better. He's 29 years old, which is crazy to me. I thought he was a little bit younger, but I don't know. I just don't see it with this team. I take the under.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, they gave Sonny Gray away for nothing. They gave Jesse Winker away for nothing. They're obviously Suarez for nothing. You bring up Castillo. He's starting the year on the injured list, so they literally have nobody.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I'm pretty sure they're gonna compete for the worst team
in baseball.
In the MLB.
Yeah, they could be fighting for the first overall pick in the draft. I don't think that's far fetched. Last but not least, now the Pittsburgh Pirates. DraftKings has them at plus 7,500 to win the NL Central, and their win total is set at 65.5. So Peter, what do you think about the Pirates? You're a Pirates guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean they're all right. They're really young. They have Brian Hayes. They have Brian Reynolds. They're pretty good. They signed Jose Quintana. I'm not saying they'll wow everybody, but that's a low win total, especially when you have the Reds. They could surprise some people. They can win mid-60s.
Nate, what do you think?
They will not be the worst team in baseball, though. Everybody thinks so. But.
Yeah, they definitely won't be, unless they trade Brian Reynolds at the trade deadline, which I think is a strong possibility. But I'm taking a slight over on this. I gotta feel bad for Pirates fans. Yeah, you really gotta feel bad for them. My uncle, my cousin, big Pittsburgh Pirates fans, live out there in Pittsburgh. Did a family fantasy baseball draft with them a few nights ago, and I feel so bad. But
bask in the glory. Andrew McCutchen, Garrett Cole.
Yeah. They'll find their Steve Cohn. They will. And that'll save them. But until then, taking the slight over.
So last year, right, they went 61 and 101. I'm going to take the slight under. They're just not ready yet. Like we said, I like Brian Reynolds. He's an all-star, and I think he's somebody that Pittsburgh could look to build around, but it really wouldn't shock me if they traded him. Like, that really wouldn't shock me. So I think they're going to win like 62, 61 games. I'll take the slight under, and I think Reynolds could end up getting moved at the deadline, which would, for all intents and purposes, ruin their chances of hitting the over there. So, Peter, who do you like to win the division?
I like the Brewers. I know it's a little chalky, but nobody wows me except like maybe the Cardinals, but yeah.
I'm going to take the Cardinals. I'm going to be a little bit different here. I'll take the Cardinals. Nate, who do you like?
I'm taking the Brewers.
Okay, so 2 Brewers and me with the Cardinals. I'll be a little different. That's fine. Moving on to the NL West. This division was very exciting last year. We saw the emergence of the San Francisco Giants. We saw the disappointment with the San Diego Padres, and we saw the dominance with the LA Dodgers. So let's get right into it with the Dodgers. The Dodgers, their odds to win the division are minus 235, and their win total is set at 98.5. So, Nate, what do you think of the Dodgers?
I love this Dodgers team. I'm taking the over. Look at their pitching staff. They have very solid pitching staff. Clayton Kershaw's looked pretty great in spring training and what's going to be his final season. Obviously, their lineup is one of the best in the game, probably the best in the National League. Bullpen, that's the big question mark that I have. They have your guys' former boy, Craig Kimbrell, that they just traded for. So we'll see how he does, what he's got left in the tank. They got Blake Trinan,
he's terrible. He's terrible.
Yeah.
Not what he was.
He was good last season, especially when he went over the White Sox, but now when he's on a team that has World Series aspirations, I don't really know if he's gonna click. But yeah, I love this team. I'm taking the over on them, probably somewhere around low hundreds.
Okay, Peter, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. Their talent speaks for itself, but we got to pump the brakes on everybody saying that this is the best lineup ever. I don't think it is. I can't tell you a better lineup, but I'm sure it's not.
I'd take the Blue Jays lineup instead. That's just me. Or now the White Sox.
Do you think it's the best lineup in baseball, Peter?
No,
I think
maybe.
I mean, look, is Bellinger going to get on track this year? I think that.
Oh no, I think Bellinger's toast. His spring training is awful. He's like striking out like every other at bat.
He might be toast, but it wasn't that long ago where he was an MVP candidate. I know it feels like it was a long time ago, but if Bellinger can get on track, and if Freeman can fit right in, and I don't know, like I think they will be the best lineup in baseball. Now, if you're saying all time, no, I agree. I think we'll pump the brakes on that for at least the first half of the year here. Let's see how things shake out here. But I see, Peter, you like the over too?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's clean sweep here. I like the over. I think the Dodgers can win roughly 103 games. Somebody that nobody mentioned was Walker Buehler. I think Walker Buehler is, again, I don't want to call him underrated, but he's somebody on that pitching staff nobody really mentions or talking about. I know Clayton Kershaw obviously gets the limelight, and again, future Hall of Famer, rightfully so. But I think Walker Buehler is somebody that I liked to win the Cy Young last year and it didn't pan out. And I think I would double down on Walker Buehler. And again, I think another variable for the Dodgers is Cody Bellinger. Again, what's going to happen with him? Do they just totally punt on him and move him or bench him or what? Or do they kind of figure out how to get things working with him? And I think they might be able to fix him. I really do.
Never really have been a lot. He really kind of just came out of nowhere, really. So I kind of just was like, okay, yeah, that big, obviously, that great rookie season, the great sophomore season. I think he just let it get to his head. So maybe now with Freddie Freeman on the team, they have an entire lineup that, if you really look at it, everyone else in that lineup is better than him for what he's done in the last 2 seasons. So he's got no pressure on him, but so maybe he'll click. Maybe he'll be great. But, yeah, I'm not a huge Bellinger guy.
Interesting. So I think we're all in the over there. Next, the San Diego Padres. Their odds to win the division are at plus 330, and their win total is set at 89.5. So the Padres are clearly a team that have positioned themselves to compete with the Dodgers, right? They've spent all the money they can. They made the necessary trades to compete now. And this is probably like their second year that I would say that they put all their chips in the middle of the table and they said, let's go. Like Dodgers, me and you, let's go. And last year it didn't pan out. Does it pan out this year, guys? Peter, I'll let you start.
I don't think so. I have them as the under. They did trade for Sean Manaea. I mean, that's pretty good. If they have all the talent in the world, but their biggest piece ever, never stay healthy. Tatis isn't gonna play for at least like 2-3 months. Don't ride him like motorcycle, kids. It's bad.
Nate, what do you think?
I'm taking a slight under. I like this team's pitching staff a whole lot, but is Mike Clevenger going to be what he was when he was with Cleveland? That's a huge question mark. Then Mackenzie Gore is going to miss most of the season. He's a big lefty. So who knows about him? Blake Snell had a pretty terrible season last year. Who knows about him? Yu Darvish is getting up there in age. Who knows about him? Sean Manaea hasn't really done a whole lot of anything really besides the COVID season. So who knows about him? Bullpen is very mediocre. Obviously, their lineup is great, but again, pitching wins, and I see a lot of question marks with that pitching staff. Everyone in that rotation has a question mark.
It's true. And I'm going to agree with all you guys. I'm going to take the under here. I think missing, again, Tatis for up to 3 months here, that's a long time. And I know, like, Peter, I don't know if you mentioned this, but they traded for Luke Voit. He's obviously not Fernando Tatis, and he's obviously someone that's only going to be there as like a stopgap until Tatis is healthy. But look, I just don't see it with this team. I know I like Bob Melvin too, somebody they brought in. Yeah, Bob Melvin is somebody that has a lot of experience. He's somebody that had some success in Oakland, but with all the injuries, I think they just come up short. I think they win like 87, 86 games. I don't think it's as much of a disappointment as it was last year, but I think a lot of it is going to come down to health. And they just didn't have it last year. They didn't have the pitching to stay healthy enough. They underperformed. Yeah, I'm going to take the under here. So we're all in the under with the Padres. That kind of sucks, because they could be a fun team.
Yeah, they could.
Moving on here to the San Francisco Giants. The Giants, they kind of burst onto the scene last year. Nate, before we started recording, me and Peter were talking about it. Just how crazy that Giants season was. They won 107 games last year. And again, was their 2021 season a fluke or not? Nate, I'll let you start off.
I'm going to take slight over, and by slight, I mean 87, 80, 86, 87, 88. I don't really see this team being as great as they were last year. Obviously, they lose Buster Posey, that guy, Hall of Famer, great player, big voice in that clubhouse. Now he's gone. Now that we have no one at catcher, so who knows about that? Pitching-wise, they did bring in Carlos Rodon, who I love. They re-signed Anthony DeSclafani, Alex Wood. They have Logan Webb, who the hell knows about him? But I look at this team, I don't know. Gabe Kapler, Phillies fans know Philly fans knows better than anyone that Gabe Kapler was terrible, and he had a very great season last year. So I'm saying if it all lies on Gabe Kapler. If he pulls another trick out of the magic hat, we'll see how he does. But I don't know. When Gabe Kapler's your manager, I'm not expecting 2 straight elite seasons in a row.
The Giants are a really interesting case because I could totally see them falling off here and really hammering this under. But I could also see that they did take some positive steps forward. And again, I think the offseason wasn't necessarily that bad for them. But I'm going to take the over. I think they can win like 86 games. 87 games. I'm sorry. Slight over. Very, very slight. Somebody else you didn't mention, Nate, Alex Cobb. He was another addition for the Giants.
How can I forget?
Of course. And again, along with the loss of Buster Posey, they also lost Chris Bryant. So Bryant moved on. So that's another hole they got to fill.
Brandon Crawford's getting old. Brandon Belt had a fluke season last year. All the Giants fans keep saying Brandon Belt's outstanding. No, Brandon Belt had a fluke season. Please.
One thing I can promise: the Giants are not winning 100 games this year.
Oh no.
No, I'll take the over reluctantly. Peter, how about you?
Yeah, I have the over. I don't think that the loss of Chris Bryant and Buster Posey will cost them 23 games. I'm pretty sure this is way too low. Wait, what? What did I say? Why does he look at me like that?
I don't know.
I mean, listen, the catcher, Buster Posey is amazing, but they do have Joey Bart. He's still there for a reason. They didn't trade him 3 years
ago. He's going to be
ago.
splitting time, though, with the other guy.
Yeah, I mean,
not doing what they should do and just name him the starter.
So, Peter, do you think they're closer to a 100-win team or closer to an 80-win team?
Closer to 100. I'm pretty sure they'll win 90 plus. I'm pretty sure that I don't get these odds makers. I think that they should be second in their division, and then the Padres should be third. Because I like Carlos Rodon. I love Alex Wood. I love their pitching staff. I mean, their bats aren't that good. Brandon Crawford is going to come down. Brandon Belt, as you said, is going to go down. And they didn't replace Chris Bryant. But I would not be surprised if they sneak into the playoffs and surprise some people again. Because you forget, they won the division last year.
They did, against all odds, because nobody ever would have imagined that. No. Moving on here to the Colorado Rockies. This is a fun one. Nate, who lives out in Colorado now, can give us a firsthand glimpse into the Rockies. Their odds to win the division are plus 12,000, and their win total is set at 68.5. So, Nate, I'll let you go first. What do you think of the Rockies?
I'm taking the over on this. Rockies.
Just for purposes.
What?
Just for living purposes.
I'm being serious.
All right.
This Rockies team, they have decent pitching. Like,
they have no pitching.
What do you mean, big kid? They have one guy, and I just had his name. It just escaped in my mind.
What, Herman Martez or whatever his name
Herman
is?
Marquez. That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. They have decent pitching. Their offense is obviously always going to be great because of the high altitude. Bringing Chris Bryant, obviously, I don't know. I'm saying around 73, 74 wins. I'm not saying in the 60s, but I'm taking the over on this one slightly. They're definitely not a playoff team for sure, but they're better than a lot of people give them credit for.
I'm going to take the slight over too. They won 74 and 87 last year. Can they win 70 games? I think they could probably win 70 games. And I think
Chris Bryant, obviously, I think that they could. Good man.
Yeah, and I think they have, again, I think the franchise is clearly not doing everything they possibly can. Like, I think they botched some different things. I think they should have moved on from Trevor Story at the deadline last year. I think they should have got more for Nolan Arenado. Like, the list goes on and on in terms of things they could have done. I mean, if you want to go back even further, maybe even DJ LeMahieu, they could have actually got stuff for. But look, I think this Rockies team can win 70 games. I don't think that's that crazy. And I know you talked about the you mentioned the altitude, right?
Yeah.
And I guess that can be a factor too. I think they can win 70 games. I buy that. Peter?
I totally agree. Their offense will carry them alone. They still have Charlie Blackmon, CJ Cron, Chris Bryant. But it's a slap in the face that they signed Chris Bryant. Because if you're just going to give that money to Chris Bryant, why not you just give that money to Trevor Story? Or even way back when, give that to Nolan Arenado.
Was the move about
wait, Peter. Hold up. Are you saying you'd rather have Trevor Story than Chris Bryant?
Yeah.
No.
Pombo. So what were you saying, Pombo? Sorry, I need to.
I mean, listen, you gotta like spin it to the fans.
I think he's
Everybody
saying,
loved Trevor Story.
I think he's saying instead of letting your homegrown talent leave for nothing, right? They bring in Chris Bryant, which I understand.
If you want to give
really
Chris Bryant what was it, like 7 and 185? Why can't you give that to Trevor Story?
Or bring them both in? Just show some direction. It feels like they don't have a direction. It feels like that was just a move to sell tickets.
They're just trading away everything, and then they're like, all right, we'll just sign this big name Chris Bryant.
Yeah, it felt like we need to sell tickets move. But I understand what you're saying. I'll still take Chris Bryant over Trevor Story in a vacuum. But maybe the Rockies have a plan.
No, I hate Chris Bryant now. He's a guaranteed loser. He'll never win anything in his whole life. I know he won in 2016, but he chose the Rockies over everything else. Get that bag, I respect that, but like you'll never win anything else in your whole entire life.
Okay.
Still a great man, Peter. Next question, Bob.
Some strong dislike for the Rockies organization, but I knew this was coming. Peter, we talked about it a couple weeks ago when Bryant signed. Peter thought Bryant was going to go to a contender. And yeah.
I thought he was going to Seattle.
I
thought he was going to go back to the Giants. It makes so much sense. I don't get it.
It's fair, but here we are as a Colorado Rocky. Last but not least, the Arizona Diamondbacks are at plus 15,000. Their win total is set at 67.5. Peter, what do you think about the Diamondbacks? Another team that are in the rebuild.
Yeah, they won 52 games last year. I have them as the under. I don't think they're going to win. What is that, Matt? 12 more games. Madison Bumgarner's getting up there. The only thing that Arizona has is Killer Marte. I don't care if that win total is so low. I'm pretty sure they're going to be the worst team in baseball.
Ooh, I'm going to take the over. I feel like that's real. That total was low, but last year they were really bad. Last year, again, they went 52 games last year. I'm going to take the over. Does Bumgarner have anything left in the tank? Does he? I feel like he might have a little bit. I don't know. I'm going to take the over here. What about Zach Allen? You guys like him too?
He's fine.
Again, he's there. I mean, I'll take the over here. What do you think, Nate?
Taking the over on this one slightly. The pitching staff is decent. They have his name was always weird because it's like a girl. It's like a half a girl's name. It's Meryl something. I don't know. I can't think of his last name. They got Gallen, who's pretty good. Obviously, they have Ketel Marte. Don't really have much other than that, but I don't know. This is a very weird team. They have a decent manager, is a former Red Sox guy.
Yeah, and he I don't know if you guys saw, his son plays for he's in the Cubs organization, so they played each other last week. That was kind of cool.
Got fired last year.
I'm surprised he didn't. Surprised he didn't. But I mean, I guess that tells you that maybe they're kind of all in understanding that they're in a rebuild here, and they think he's the guy that's going to lead him out of it eventually.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess I like to see that he's getting an opportunity. Like, sometimes I hate when coaches get canned after a year when they really had no shot. Like it feels like, but again, at the beginning of his tenure, they did have an opportunity because at the time when he got hired, didn't they win what 80 games? Did they make the playoffs one year? As a
think they
wild card
did.
or something?
Yeah, they did as a wild card.
Yeah, so they clearly respect him and they clearly think he's that guy. But we shall see. All right, so Peter, who do you like to win the NL West?
It's boring. Dodgers.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
agree.
That's it.
Dodgers.
That's it.
Dodgers, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, and now I will say this, Peter, because I know you're higher on the Giants. Can the Giants win the division? Or would you take? Do you think the Giants win more games than the Dodgers?
No. I don't think their offense can compete with the Dodgers. If it's Dodgers, if it's Giants versus Padres, I take Giants a million times out of a million. But no.
Interesting. See, the talent, I lean Padres, but is the health there? I don't know. All right, I think it is time to get into the fun part of the show. What do you think?
Yeah, let's get to the Black Plague.
The NL East, as Nate is very familiar with. I will save the Mets for last. Right, we'll save the Mets for like the last.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. I will start off with the defending world champion Atlanta Braves. They are favored to win the division at plus 120, and their win total is set at 91.5. So Nate, I'll let you have the floor here.
I'm taking the over on this one. I like Matt
Ooh.
Olson a lot. Matt Olson's great. I think getting him at a much cheaper price than Freddie Freeman, I'd take Matt Olson any day over Freddie Freeman's price tag, especially with the age that he's coming on. But lineup's pretty, obviously it's very solid. They have Acuna Jr. coming back. He's going to help them a lot. Both their pitching staff is sit there for years, and obviously I was proved wrong last year, but I still think their pitching staff is okay. It's nothing outstanding. It's nothing amazing, but bullpen's pretty solid. That's really what's going to help them a lot, but I'm taking the slide over on this.
I'm going to take the slight under. I think they're going to win 89, 88 games.
I'd love it.
And again, I like Matt Olson too. I loved him in Oakland. I really did. Again, losing Freddie Freeman, is there going to be a substantial difference? I guess we'll see. I also like that they were able to bring back Eddie Rosario. I think that was important.
Yeah.
But I think 89 wins. I don't necessarily call it a step back, but last year they won 88. So I think they won about 89. I don't think they're going to have like a crazy jump into like the mid 90s. Peter, what do you think?
I have them as the over. I like their pitching staff. Max Fried. I love the Kenley Jansen move out of literally nowhere. They should bolster their bullpen, even though Jansen lost a step a little bit. Obviously, Acuna's coming back. One thing on the Braves, and you have to agree, they literally have the best negotiation tactics, like known to man. I don't get it. Even with Matt Olson, he took less money. Like Acuna took way less money. Who was that got like massively underpaid? Austin Alves got like nothing. Then Slauson got nothing.
Teams do that nowadays with young players and stars to eat out of their arbitration years, good man.
No, but like if you pay them like
you're paying them the same amount of years.
You're paying them like $8 million. You're paying them like $8 million.
They're just kissing their butt, giving them more money than what they would have had on the rookie contract to eat their arbitration years.
Trying to front load it and then worry about the back later.
Yeah.
I understand what Peter's saying. I understand what Nate's saying.
And if they had great negotiation tactics, they would have been able to re-sign Freddie Freeman. They were.
I was just going to mention.
I mean, Freddie Freeman should fire his agent because like the Braves offer him more money.
I mean,
it's true. It's
true.
The
Dodgers.
He's from LA, so I understand.
Yeah, they wanted to go home too.
Yeah. Braves are an interesting team. They really are, and I don't love them as much as everybody else does.
One word.
Love Freddie Freeman.
Moving on to the Philadelphia Phillies. Their odds to win the division are plus 330. Their win total is set at 86.5. So, Peter, I'll let you start with the Braves.
I like the Braves. I love their offense. I think they can carry them. Yeah, I mean, the one question mark is their what? Wait, what?
I don't know. I thought Nate's just chirping here. It's funny.
All right, we'll get there. I mean, the pitchers, It's a question mark. After Aaron Nola, I don't really know. But their offense should carry him.
So you take the over here.
Yeah. They could win a division, to be honest.
Look, I'm going to take the under. And for the last couple of years, I've been higher on the Phillies than most. I'm a big Bryce Harper guy, and I always thought they were going to be able to click.
Oh, we'll get there.
This
I love
hasn't
Bryce
happened.
Harper this year.
It just look. I've been a Bryce Harper guy for years. They went 82 and 80 last year. They brought in Joe Girardi a couple of years back, and I remember everybody thought they would finally be heading in the right direction. They had a decent offseason. I like the addition of Kyle Schwarber. I like him a lot, especially now because you can use the DH there in the NL, so that's important. Do you get Peter? Did you mention Zach Wheeler?
Oh, I forgot about Zach Wheeler.
You did mention Zach Wheeler here. I think he deserves to be mentioned in the conversation. But I think a lot of it's going to come down to pitching. And I just take the under. I think they'll win like 82, 83 games. They'll be mediocre again. Nate?
Yeah, I'm taking the under on this one. They have a manager who was like a fossil who was fired from the Yankees largely because he didn't want to get on board of analytics. And we saw that a lot last year with the Phillies too. The pitching staff, they have Zach Wheeler after that. They don't really have much. Aaron Nola hasn't really done anything over the last 2 years.
You know, like Aaron Nola, though?
Never really been a huge fan of him. He's fallen off a lot lately. Last 2 years, he's been bad. Pitching staff is not really there after Zach Wheeler. Their bullpen, it's okay. They have Nestor Cortez, whatever his name is, who's decent. They have now let's look at the lineup. Good man, shall we? They got Bryce Harper, who's a good man. He's gonna be all yeah, yippty-doo, home run. Oh, there it is. I'm Bryce Harper. I'm awesome. I do what I want when I want. He's gonna make $400 million. But other than that, they signed 2 DHs in the offseason, and Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber.
Oh, yeah, him too, of course.
About $150 million combined for both of them. Castellanos can't field anywhere. He literally can't field anywhere. Like you put him
at DH and put Schwarber at first.
Schwarber's knees aren't really.
Schwarber,
I mean, Schwarber, you could play at first, or you DH him. That's it.
They have Rhys Hoskins.
Ugh.
I'd rather have him there fielding than Kyle Schwarber. He's out there looking like Dylan 2 years ago.
Poor Dylan. Okay, moving on to the Miami Marlins. Their odds to win the division are plus 1,600. Their win total is set at 77.5. So I think arguably the biggest story for the Marlins this offseason was the departure of Derek Jeter. He's no longer in the picture down in Miami. But coming off a 95 loss season, they were 67 and 95 last year. But it feels like some of their young pieces are finally getting an opportunity, So I'll start with Nate this one. What do you think about the Marlins?
I'm taking the sled over on this. I like their pitching a lot. They have Sandy Alcantara, who's pretty great. Pablo Lopez, who had a great season last year. Trevor Rogers, who had a big year last year, pretty great COVID season as well. Hitting wise, they got some really good pieces. I like the Jorge Soler addition a lot. Taking the sled over on this. Some people it's mainly Florida heads that are saying like, oh, the Miami Marlins are going to be a playoff team. I highly doubt that. I'd rather put money on Justin's Yankees to be a playoff team than I would those damn Marlins. But yeah, I'm taking the over on this. I think the Marlins are definitely going to have a nice year as they start to get out of the rebuild, sort of in a way.
I take the under here. I don't know, man. I feel like the NL East is going to be a pretty good division. I feel like the Braves and the Mets are clearly superior here, and I think the Phillies are a class below that, and I think the Marlins are an even further class below that.
I'm surprised Don Mattingly's still there.
Yeah, and again, there probably could be turnover there too with the departure of Derek Jeter. They really don't know how that's gonna end up here. It feels like the Marlins are just a abyss, and it feels like they have. Again, if you want to move the calendar back 5 years when you had a lineup of Stanton, Yelich, and all those guys, and it felt like him too, and it feels like they underutilized all of it, assets and everything.
Yeah, I have them as a slight over just on their pitching staff alone. They're really, really young. I don't expect them to go pretty far. They're obviously rebuilding, but they're going in the right direction. Future's bright for the Marlins.
I don't know. I don't see it yet. Maybe I will, but not yet. Especially with the money the Mets are spending, and it feels like the Braves roster is just superior. And I feel like it's a long road ahead for the Miami Marlins. Last but not least, the Washington Nationals at plus 5,500 here, and their win total is set at 71.5. When you look at the Nationals coming off a 65-97 season, Peter, what do you think?
Oh, Nationals. Oh, Juan Soto. Please do not resign there for the love of God. Nationals,
he's gone.
the only thing they did was to get Nelson Cruz so that they could deal him off in the trade deadline. I actually respect that, but their pitching are absolutely horrible. The worst contract probably in baseball. Patrick Corbin, terrible. Steven Strasburg probably pitched like 5 pitchers and then get hurt. So yeah, they're an absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah, the Nationals, and something that nobody mentioned was Steven Strasburg. Where has he been the last 2 years?
He's been just hurt. He's just
nothing.
Exactly. I think he's made maybe 4 starts over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And what did the Washington Nationals do this offseason? It felt like the one thing they did do, I don't know if you mentioned this, Peter, was they signed Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, to just deal him away in the trade deadline, which I respect because they're definitely going to do that.
Again, it's just I don't like this Nationals.
Hey, I respect it though. They won the World Series 3 years ago.
Yeah, again, you'll take a World Series. I take the under here. I think they'll win like 67 games.
Funny thing at the Nationals, and I'm taking them on the way under, by the way. I'm taking them at around high 50s, low 60s, if I'm being honest. But one thing that the Nationals did do that is probably the funniest thing I've ever seen is that they signed a young man out of, I don't know where he's from, named Elian Soto, who is Juan Soto's younger brother. And Elian took to social media and said, yay, can't wait to play with my brother someday in the majors. Well, someone's going to slap him in the face and wake him up because Soto's walking in 3-4 years. He's gone. So, yeah.
Yeah, he just declined that major offer, whatever that was. Like,
I will say, though, if you're the Nationals, you've got to do everything in your power to keep him in your organization, even if it means signing his brother and whatever else. I know that's more of an NBA thing, like buddies and signing friends of friends and all that stuff. But if it gets the job done, it gets the job done.
Oh, Steven Strasburg's already hurt.
I'm gonna say right now, they have a 0% chance at re-signing him.
Oh, I think he will go too.
He is going to the Yankees. He will go to the Yankees.
He's going to the Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox, or Mets. One of those 4.
I think it's a low percentage that he actually re-ups in Washington, but
that is a perfect Yankee right when Stanton's gone. I'm pretty sure it lines up.
I hope they miss out on both of them.
What?
We shall miss out. Who's the other one?
Judge and Soto.
Oh.
Judge is a free agent after this season, so if he's gone, Justin and all the Yankees fans are going to be saying, "Oh, no,
I want them.
Soto in 3 years anyway, so it's no problem."
Who would you rather have? If the Yankees had to lose one, who would you rather have, Soto or Judge?
Soto.
Soto by a million.
Yeah.
I want them to re-sign Judge so bad because that's another player that I've said for years will never, ever, 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 ever win anything in his whole life.
I also think
I
think he's a perfect Yankee too. I think he's staying there.
I don't think he's a Yankee though. He's too nice.
I think
and he fixed his teeth. What's up with that, bro?
I think he's a perfect Yankee. I really do. I think he's staying there.
A girl too.
You think he stays there?
No.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I do. Yep, I do. Especially
who are they giving money to? They're not giving any money.
Especially with their quiet offseason in terms of spending. I'd be shocked. Tell you what, Nate, if he does go, then they have something a lot bigger on the back burner. Whether it's Soto or whatever it is.
Not friends with Brian Cashman at all, and Cashman just signed an extension. So
he should get fired. Imagine not getting Carlos Correa, Baez, or Trevor Story when you need a shortstop.
That's what I'm saying. There has to be there's a piece of the puzzle I think we're missing. There has to be.
Cashman and Steinbrenners Brenners are big friends. If you see what I'm doing, they are big friends. But
no, I get it. I just feel like
Judge doesn't like Cashman, so that's why I'm saying I think as long as Cashman's there, Judge is out the door.
Well, if the money's there, I think he'll take the money. We'll see though. That's a story for a different day. we'll see what happens with Judge. Again, who knows? It doesn't look like he's going to reach an extension with them before the season starts, clearly. So we shall see. And I misspoke before when I said last but not least, because I forgot the New York Mets, of course. How could I forget? The Mets, their odds to win the division are plus 195. And their win total is set at 88.5. So I think if we brought in Nate to talk about the Mets 2 weeks ago, he would have told you they would have won 100. They're going to win 105 games and they're going to win the World Series. Unfortunately, we caught Nate in a vulnerable moment where I know where Nate sits with the Mets right now, and it's not where he was 2 weeks ago, due to some injuries, of course. So, Nate, I'll let you have the floor. Talk me up about the Mets. I know you're going to take the over out of principle, but what do you think?
Let's say DeGrom and Scherzer missed 2 months of the season. I'm still taking a slight over on
Wait,
this.
real talk. Is Scherzer supposed to miss a lot of time?
I don't believe so.
He might be back this Friday or Thursday.
All right, cool. Because I spent $55 on him in my auction league. You better not get hurt for 2 months.
Peter loves auction leagues.
Good man.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Good man. But yeah, I'm taking the over on this one. I think the Mets bullpen, it's solid. They have Edwin Diaz, who 3/4 of the time is going to be great, but it feels like whenever he blows a save, it's always a crucial game. So decent bullpen. Pitching staff is obviously very solid if there was no injuries. You got Jacob deGrom now. He's going to miss about a month and a half, maybe around a month. So hey, at least we got Scherzer and we got Chris Bassett to replace. But yeah, I like this Mets team a lot. They made a lot of obviously big moves in the offseason. Their lineup is very solid from top to bottom. And I think that's going to be what kind of carries them the way a little bit, especially with their bullpen being decent. Adam Ottavino sucks, but yeah, bullpen's good otherwise.
You don't got to tell us that. Do not have to tell us that.
Oh, no. And Justin, he's listening.
Oh, I respect. Oh, I love Adam Ottavino. He's a Northeastern alum. I'm right with him.
Oh, yeah, you want? Yeah, you like him doing the stupid summary thing, and
there isn't many Northeastern alums in Major League Baseball. I'll take the W when I have them.
Yeah, I'm taking the over this one. I think they're going to be a solid team. I don't think that they're going to win the playoffs, and I wouldn't have told. I mean, I don't think they're going to win the World Series, and I wouldn't have told you that 2 weeks ago. By the way,
no. If we talked to you 2 weeks ago, you would have said high 90s.
I'd say high 90s, but I still want to say them as a World Series team.
Yeah, it just feels like the injuries kind of took a little bit of the air out of your bubble a little bit.
Every year, it's always injuries.
Hey, and I'm gonna give you my non-biased opinion here. I think they hit the over. I think they win 90. I think they win 90 games. I think they're gonna sit right around 90. And the reason I believe so is their constant ability to, with Steve Cohen and his ability to make moves on the fly. I think we've clearly seen that over the last about year. And again, if they can have some sort of health down the stretch, they'll make a addition at the deadline. And I firmly believe that the NL East is ripe for the takings. Max Scherzer is somebody that I really, really like. I have some question marks about his age. How much does he have left in the tank? Obviously, that injury is a concern. And Jacob deGrom, I think.
Wow, hypocrite. Don't you love the Astros?
What's the matter?
Don't you love the Astros?
I don't love the Astros.
How old is Justin Verlander?
Look.
Oh, no.
Here's
Tom Brady of the MLB.
Here's the thing with Max Scherzer here. I think, again, I love Max Scherzer. I think he's
the second best pitcher of our generation.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that. But was he now 39 years? He's not as Verlander is younger than him.
No, Scherzer's younger.
No way.
Scherzer's younger?
No way Scherzer's older than him. Scherzer's 37. Justin Verlander's probably like 40.
Yeah, he's around like 40. Scherzer's like 37.
Verlander's 39. So it's close. Yeah. 2 years apart. But question marks there. DeGrom, same kind of thing. I like what they were able to do with their lineup. I know Nate is really, really high. Really, really high on Starling Marte. He's somebody, Nate, how long have you liked him for?
Been a fan of this guy since he was a prospect.
Really, really high on him.
About a decade now.
Yeah. So I like this Mets team. I'm going to take the slight over. 90, 91 wins. Yeah, I get the concerns, but we'll see how it goes. And Nate, question. Robinson Cano, what's his little
What's his deal?
yeah.
He's
DH
probably
for
gonna be
life?
the DH.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because
probably
he's officially good from his suspension.
Yeah, and he's actually looked very good in spring training.
Interesting. Now I know
Somebody
he's
on
like
Twitter, somebody
40
on
years
Twitter
old, but-
today said he's gonna hit 40 home runs, and then
I don't know about
I
that,
was,
but
I was left.
yeah, high 20s maybe. But a lot of the players have actually said that he's become like kind of like a leader, and that he's been like taking them under his wing. You can then say, well, maybe he's giving them steroids, but I doubt it.
All right, Peter, what do you got?
Out of principle alone, I have the under. They got to show me one time they don't get injured. I'm sorry.
Who's
But
that?
I mean, just one time they don't get injured, and they're already injured. So, but they did have the best offseason by far. Obviously, Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett, Starling Marte, Edward Escobar, Moncana, Adam Bonavino. No, I'm just kidding. But they have the talent to figure it out. If you asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have been the one that said they would have won the World Series. But
Really?
they will
Man.
not do that. Yeah, if you asked me 2 weeks ago, I had them as the over. I had them as everything. They're my Seattle. They were my Seattle Mariners of the AL.
See, the timing sucks because, again, 2 weeks ago, Nate would have said 99 wins. See you in the NLCS.
You think that DeGrom's only going to be a month?
I think he could be out till June. I was reading.
Well,
I think he's going to be Chris Sale 2.0 and just.
I don't want to go that far.
He has an opt out, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's probably gonna opt out after the season, but he wants to get what he's worth. And obviously, if he's injured, I don't know how much he'll get. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see about that. But he said
if you're the Mets, you gotta pay him whatever he wants.
for sure.
That's an interesting. But then again, you got to be very cautious of course.
Why you spent $1 billion anyway, like last offseason.
180 million on Jacob DeGrom, 180 million for Steve Cohen. That's like
But here's the thing:
$1,000 for us.
all that money spent is meaningless if DeGrom and Scherzer can't stay healthy, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, if DeGrom really wants to stay with the Mets, that's what he's been saying. I feel like Steve Cohen just give him a blank check.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying
you
for this
can't-
year.
you
I'm
can't
saying
risk-
this
you
year.
can't-
injury, but
You can't risk him to go to the Yankees or something, though.
No, yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. If they feel they can get somebody else from free agency or via trade, I wouldn't be shocked if
And I've had a hot take for a while.
I'm ready for it.
Finish what you were saying, Pombo, and I'll say my hot take.
It wouldn't shock me if, let's just say, DeGrom had another injury-plagued season. The Mets kind of looked at it and they said, we got to upgrade here. I'm not saying they're going to not offer him a deal, but I think it might be lower than what people expect.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was your flaming take here?
My hot take is that at the trade deadline, if the Mets pitching staff still has some question marks, they're still on paper or as the stat or whatever it is. If at the time of the trade deadline, if the season were to end, if they were a playoff team, I think Steve Cohen has a big move up his sleeve, hitting up the Cleveland Indians, Francisco Lindor's former squad, offering a massive trade for Jose Ramirez and Shane Bieber.
And that is the bold take.
Good.
I'm with it.
If,
I think
if Jose Ramirez doesn't go to the Blue Jays, that's fine with me.
Peter is scared crapless of Jose Ramirez in a Blue Jays uniform.
I don't see how we'd fit there. They got Josh Donaldson.
It doesn't matter.
Gold glove third baseman.
It doesn't matter though. Like there's way too many rumors for my life.
Yeah.
Peter is
I don't see it.
scared.
Way
I don't
too
see
many.
it happening.
All right. So Nate, who do you like to win the division? I wonder.
Division. 2 weeks ago, I would have said the Mets. I would have, because the Mets pitching staff is by far better than the Braves.
The
But,
best rotation in baseball when healthy.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
you can't even debate that.
Yeah, you can't. Brewers are close, but you can't. Yeah, I'm taking. It's tough. It's tough. I take the Mets lineup over the Braves. I take the Mets bullpen over the Braves. I take the Mets rotation over the Braves. I'm taking the Mets.
I'm gonna take the Mets. I'm gonna take the Mets just to make Nate laugh.
Good man, Peter. Good man. I mean, Pombo.
I take the Phillies then.
Oh, funny guy.
I must pick the Phillies, but I have the Braves just out of injuries alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so chalk. I hate picking three divisions.
That's why
on
I
the
tried to
top.
be. I tried to pick a couple different ones with the Cardinals, and we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. So, Peter, do you want to give our NLCS some World Series picks? Or you want to go to awards?
We can do NCS World Series real quick.
All
You
right.
can do that too if you want.
I like the for me anyway, I like the Dodgers over the Cardinals in the NLCS.
Oh, so boring, boo.
It's not boring. The Cardinals aren't boring.
Dodgers.
Dodgers are boring, but sorry. And look, that's who I like. And I have the Dodgers winning the World Series.
I guarantee you the Dodgers will not win the World Series
You guarantee it?
because it's so obvious that it's not going to happen.
I just think this team is so loaded, man. I have them winning the World Series. I have Dodgers over White Sox.
I have Brewers over the Braves, and then I have the Brewers over the Mariners.
Freaking Mariners.
I
Nate,
love
what
the
about you?
Mariners.
Mariners going to the World Series. Peter.
Oh, you should have listened to me in the AL. I even infected
Yeah.
Matt. Matt bet them for the division.
I know. I yes, he
He
did.
texted me that picture. I was like, yes, Matt.
Man.
Nate, what do you got?
I'm taking the Dodgers over the Brewers, and in the American League, I am taking the Blue Jays over the White Sox, and I'm taking the Blue Jays over the Dodgers.
Okay, so you have the Dodgers. Dodgers losing the World Series. Oof, that would be crushing for them. Oof.
I love it.
All right, and then here, we'll quickly break down some awards. We'll do AL MVP, NL MVP, AL Cy Young, and NL Cy Young. Nate, if you want to participate, feel free. I'll start off here with AL MVP. I like Mike Trout at plus 450. Look, I know Trout isn't necessarily getting the attention Shohei Ohtani is, and I know Vlad Guerrero Jr. is another hot pick, but Mike Trout's still the best player in baseball. Mike Trout.
I have Vladimir Guerrero plus 500. I was going to pick Ohtani because, as I said in the AL show, if he replicates what he did last season, he should win MVP from now to 10 years from now, but it's going to be voter fatigue. So Vlad should have won last year.
Okay, Nate, I disagree, but I know you.
I'm taking Luis Robert. I think White Sox think he's gonna have a big season.
Nate's a huge White Sox guy.
Yeah, I'm a big Luis Robert guy. I think he's poised to have a big year. Let's see how it goes.
Okay, moving on to NL MVP. Actually, we'll do AL Cy Young. We'll do AL and then we'll go NL. AL Cy Young. I like Shane Bieber at plus 700. Kind of boring, but Shane Bieber's the best pitcher in the AL, in my opinion. Other than I think Garrett Cole and him are very close, 1A, 1B, but I lean Bieber.
Nate Eovaldi plus 2,500. If the Red Sox are
That's
going to do
bold, bro.
anything, Nate Eovaldi is going to be the reason why. After Nate Eovaldi, they have no pitching. No pitching.
Okay, fair.
Hey, you don't like that?
Not even close.
That's Dylan's favorite pitcher, Nate.
Wow. Okay, I'm taking Shane Bieber. I'm with you, Pombo.
Oh, good man.
Best pitcher in the American League, coming off of a minor injury. We'll see how he does, but I'm taking him to have a huge bounce back season. He's under contract with the now Guardians.
Guardians, yes.
Seasons. So I think he's gonna want to prove to other good teams that he's still amazing, and he's just trying to get traded as soon as he can. I'm gonna win another Cy Young this year.
Okay, moving on. NL MVP. I'm going to stick with my theme of the Cardinals making a run here. I like Nolan Arenado at plus 2,500. I do. I think he's finally going to hit into his own in St. Louis. I think this team is underrated. I like him plus 2,500. Peter?
I'm changing my pick. I'm picking Pete Alonso.
What?
I think he's gonna hit
Wow.
40 and 120.
You're a great man, Peter.
If the Mets have any chance, assuming that their injuries don't go well, I'm pretty sure Pete Alonso is going to be the reason why they not sneak into the playoffs, but sneak into the playoffs.
Nate?
I'm thinking Trey Turner. I think he's gonna have a big season for the Dodgers. If they win the World Series, he's gonna have to click completely and be the elite player that he was when he was coming out of college, and he was when he was a prospect. He hasn't been elite yet, and I think now with his team having greatness all around him, I think he's just gonna run with it. He's gonna have a monster season.
That's what
You
Mookie
can make-
Betts has. That's what
you
Mookie
can make a
Betts
leg-
has to do.
You can make a legitimate argument there could be 5 players in the Dodgers lineup that could win the MVP. Am I
Yeah.
wrong? I think it's 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Turner, Freeman. It's 3 right there.
3 right there. Are we forgetting anyone? Yeah,
Yeah.
4. Again, you can make a case for a lot of them, which is just crazy. Last but not least, NL Cy Young. I'll start off Walker Buehler plus 800. I talked Walker Buehler up for years, and I'm going to stick by it. He's got to win a Cy Young. It's this year. Feeling it. Peter?
Make that 2.
Oh,
all I
let's
gotta say.
go.
Make that 2.
That means he's not going to win, though. I'm pretty pissed.
Why? You have your Jokic. You're pretty good at MVPs.
You're right. You're right. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at MVPs. You're right. Thank you, Peter. Nate?
I'm going with Brandon Woodruff. I think he's going to have a huge season for
Good
the
pick.
Brewers.
That was my second pick.
That's a good pick.
If the Brewers want to have any chance of being a World Series contending team or National League Championship Series contending team, he's going to have a big season. I think he's going to bounce off of the greatness that he did last year and just have a even better year this year. Take the MVP and take the Cy Young.
All right. Fair enough. Does anyone have any more baseball?
Oh, I
Ideas,
should have brought
questions,
up
thoughts?
I should have brought up on the Cardinals that Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina, and Albert Pujols is all retiring after this year. That's
When you
probably
edit-
going to be.
When you edit, just throw it in the middle. You're like,
That's
"Oh,
probably
yeah,
going to be. That's probably going to be another reason why they
Yeah.
do pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Cardinals are a team that, look, you know how there's always that one team like the Giants last year? I know the Cardinals aren't on the same level as the Giants, but I think the Cardinals can make a real run. I really
People
do.
forget the Cardinals are in the NLCS every single year.
St. Louis, baby. Nate,
They
anything?
can all make the Hall of Fame all in the same year, which I think they're all going to do, which is going to be fun. Right?
Yeah. I mean, if they're all, I don't think they're all first ballot personally, but
Oh, really? I do.
Pujols will be first ballot.
Yeah.
Wainwright and Yadier, I gotta look more closely. I'm not sure. Nate's gonna say no on Molina.
No, Yadier Molina, I think, will be first
On
ballot.
first ballot? You think he'll be first ballot? Wainwright too, though? It's tough. for
Wainwright, no
pitchers.
way.
It's tough for pitchers first ballot. I don't think Wainwright will get him first ballot.
No way.
Still 2 of the 3.
Yeah.
Nate, any final Mets thoughts?
I don't think so. They have a big year. Hopefully these injuries aren't too much of a nail in the coffin, but I think that they're going to have a big year. Hopefully they bounce back. I think that they will. End of the day, great team on paper. They just got to live up to the hype and stay off the injury bug. And it's looking like it's going to be bad there right now with the one injury.
You want to say anything to Justin that you literally destroyed on Twitter? Talked about on Bo Sox today.
Justin's a good man.
I think that's a good
Yankees
response.
suck, but he's a good man.
All right, Nate, thanks for coming on. Always a phenomenal time.
Always
Love you,
Alright.
Nate.
You can catch Nate, like I said, on Big Talk with Big Nate. You can catch him on. He's the producer of Get Mesmerized. Nate also does articles there too for the Mets. So yeah, and you can
Yes.
plug your social or whatever you want.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
No.
Always great to be on. You
Always a
guys-
pleasure, Nate.
We
Always
love you, Nate.
Always
And
an honor.
in the memory of the Masters, go Tiger, stay Tiger. I hope he.
Oh yeah, Peter, does Tiger win the Masters?
No, he does not win the Masters.
Yeah,
No
those
way.
I would never
I
bet
thi-
those
I,
odds.
th- I'm pretty sure there's a better chance of him pulling out after 18 holes when he realizes that he won't make the cut after the second round.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, and I'm rooting for him, but I agree.
But yeah, stay Tiger, everyone. Watch the Masters instead of opening day on Thursday.
Funny man.
Not really, but the Red Sox are gonna get rained out on Thursday and I'm gonna cry.
Uh,
All right, stay hot, everyone.